Hello everyone and welcome to another video. In today's video I'm going to be installing a part that is going to make the Vitara a little bit more bushproof. So these cars, just like most modern cars, tend to have a lot of plastic parts in their cooling systems, and after a while that plastic can break down, deteriorate, fatigue, and it cracks and it leaks, which is not ideal if you are driving between big cities and you're in the middle of nowhere and your coolant decides it wants to be on the outside. I went on eBay and I actually found an aluminium version. This here is hopefully going to make the car a bit more reliable, a bit more bushproof. For the $75 Australian that this actually cost, if it stops that issue from happening, then it's money well spent. I'll drop a link to this down in the description if you are interested in picking up the same sort of thing for your Vitara. Without any further ado, we'll get on to the install. However, I'm just going to quickly show you the plastic radiator filler neck and what exactly happens to them. Right here we have the plastic filler neck, and as you can see it is mounted to the body of the car, specifically the radiator support mount or support bar. So this is mounted here with some rubber isolators, as you can see in there. There's not a lot of movement in this, and because of that these tend to crack around the base here where this plastic tab actually meets with the lower part of the radiator cap mounting area. By installing this, I'm hopefully going to be removing at least one weak link from the system, and these do get a bit of punishment, especially when you push down on them to actually remove the radiator cap. So you actually have to put a bit of force into it to get the actual radiator cap off, and obviously as you're pushing down, you're only pushing as hard as you can to overcome the spring in there, just so you can tighten that on. But it is just another point of stress for this bracket here. It's all right if you just drive around town all the time. However, if I'm going cross country, I definitely want to have something that is going to be better and not have a chance of cracking. Without rambling for any longer, let's get to installing this. Okay, so there's going to be a few things you will need for this installation. One will be a 10mm socket or spanner, just to undo that. Another thing you're going to need is a set of pliers. And lastly, you're going to need something to extract the coolant from the, cooling system. So I've actually got one of these. I think it's just called a fluid extractor. Essentially, it's just a big syringe. Pretty straightforward, but this here is going to be the cleanest way to do it, as you won't have coolant everywhere. But yeah, you can pretty much use whatever you want. You can put a bucket under the car and just tilt one of the hoses down so it runs off into that. I don't have that option, as I have bash plates under the car, and it'll pretty much just go all over the bash plates and nowhere else. Without further ado, we'll get into this. Start by removing the radiator cap. Now what we are going to do is pop the top off of the overflow or expansion tank. Alright, so pretty simple with this. Put that in, and we will start pulling out any of the coolant we can get to. And for me, I'm just going to put it back into the reservoir. Again, just to make sure that I've gotten a majority of it. Obviously, the more of this that you can extract, the less of a mess you are likely to make. Looks about good to me. Can't really see much in there. Just get it to the point where there is no longer a bunch of coolant hanging around in the top of this. Next, what we're going to want to do is loosen these, can't remember what these clamps are called. I know that a lot of my mechanic friends absolutely despise them. Just get them to the point where they're loose. And then we'll try and see. I'm not sure if I already mentioned it, but when I got this car, the coolant was very, very bad. It essentially looked like Coke, like Coca-Cola. It was not good. Well, time to do a full coolant flush on this bad boy, because that coolant is, well, it's brown, so it's meant to be green or blue from what the logbook says, so it was definitely way overdue for a replacement. But that sort of thing will not help these plastic parts with their longevity. The life expectancy is obviously shortened with anything that has to do with coolant if the coolant itself is in very bad condition. Okay. Boom. Alright. Just going to try and tie this pipe out of the way, just so I can move this around freely and I'm not going to spill a bunch of stuff. With that screw removed, we can now move this around a little bit more freely, which is definitely going to help us with this bottom radiator hose. Oh, there we go. And just like that, we have the old radiator filler neck removed. Keep in mind, we do need to extract this little bushing from this and put it into the new one. So something I just noticed is the radiator cap is a little bit different to the stock Suzuki one. So we've got the stock Suzuki one and then we've got the aftermarket alloy version. As you can see, there is a little bit of a difference in the actual mounting for the radiator cap, which means we are probably not going to be able to reuse the stock radiator cap, as it is actually a different style to the aftermarket one that we have. There's a few things I have to actually do to this before I install it. Firstly, I am just going to remove this little nipple for the overflow tank, and I'm just going to put a bit of thread sealant in there just to make sure there is no leaks. Then I will pop the bushing out of the plastic filler neck and then I'll put it in this one and then we should be good to go. Okay, so I successfully extracted the little rubber bushing here and also this little metal sleeve. Push one side in just like that and then work the rest of it around, and there we go. There's that in. Put that bushing in the center. That is the rubber isolator bush installed. I also put a little bit of thread sealant on the inside of where this little overflow tank nipple thing is, just to seal it. One little thing I want to mention before I actually install this, I did have to grind down some of the messy welds that are inside of this. The welds do penetrate the metal. However, they just didn't clean them up very good. The welds on the outside look great. The welds on the inside look alright. Like there's penetration in there, but they just didn't go in there with a little Dremel and machine out all the rough bits. But I've since gone through and done that myself. About ready to reinstall this now. That will go that way. So push that bottom bit in. Alright, I do need to resituate that clamp as it is not in quite the right position. There we go, back up top. It will probably take a few tries for me to get this exactly where it needs to sit. Alright, so in there. Just going to grab a little 10mm spanner, just give it, yep, that's all it needs. Fits a lot better than what I was expecting, so that's always a plus. Now, this second cooler pipe, radiator pipe, most definitely going to be a pain. Looks like I've accidentally rotated the clamp a bit too far over one side. There's definitely a reason why mechanics hate these kinds of clamps. Work the clamp back down the pipe, and then. Alright, so it might be a bit easier fitting this pipe on if I just take the mounting bolt off. That way I can sort of move it around just a little bit. Oh, there we go. That was a royal pain, but it's now back on. So now that's small enough. Yep. Alright, so, oh, that's cool, that actually lines that up quite well now with the other pipes on there. Same thing again, right here. Yep, nice and snug. Tiny little progress update. I now fully understand why mechanics hate those clamps. Oh, there goes light. God, it's already been that long. And, oh, come on, there we go. I promise that is not generally meant to be that difficult. Looks like I'll have to do a little bit of tweaking with these clamps just to get them back to the original spot. Alright, pop the coolant line back on. Pop that back in there for now. Alright, extract the coolant back out of here. There we go. The rest back in the overflow. Coolant reservoir cap back on. So for anyone who is interested to know, this new style of cap that they include with the filler neck, obviously, as I said before, it is different to the stock Suzuki style one. That's pretty much the install done. I may actually go and get a leather style one of these. I'm going to quickly go do that and I'll be back. Alright, so I have since visited the parts store. Now I'm hoping that this will fit just as snug as that. So I would assume, okay, so do that and then, ah crap, I got it on facing backwards. Doesn't actually matter, but I just get a little bit pedantic about that. Alright, got coolant kind of everywhere. Alrighty, that is looking pretty good. I will probably at a later time change these stupid Jubilee clamps or whatever they're called out for some proper ones like what I've got down there on the power steering return. Now I definitely don't have to worry about that splitting at any time, so just gotta hope those Chinese welds hold up. Just make sure the coolant level is maintained and checked over the next week of driving. Alright everyone, that wraps up the video. Thank you very much if you stayed all the way to the end of the video. Greatly appreciate it. Definitely check out the playlist at the end of this video. That has all the other stuff I've been doing to the Grand Vitara. Anything from bash plates to 9-inch touchscreen head units, all that sort of stuff. So definitely check it out. Until the next install or off-road video, catch you later.